There's been an accident here on EDSA. It's an MC versus taxi. The team were just going past now, but there's already one MMDA here. Looks like the MC rider's down. You see Bong's got his little blinker on his shoulder as well. That's new. The reason why I'm mentioning it is it looks bright on camera, but it's still a little bit dark, so extra awareness for vehicles to see him and not crash into everyone sitting here. So they took the license from the taxi, moved him out of the way. They already have photos of the incident. They're just waiting now on the ambulance to come through for the motorcycle rider. He has a scratch on his arm and some kind of leg injury. You'll see the MC rider's now at the side of the road. He hobbled over here with the help of some enforcers. He didn't want to stay in the middle of the highway, and to be honest, they probably didn't want him there either because it's fast flowing traffic, it's rush hour and potentially too dangerous. And here comes the ambulance now. That was pretty fast, I'd say within 10 minutes. While one of the medics is checking out his injuries, the other one's filling out a patient form so they'll have a record of this. From what I understand, his main injury is on his foot here, and that's why they're bandaging it up now. So they cleaned the wound with iodine and they'll just patch it up for now. So the gentleman said he wants to go home. He does not want them to take him to hospital or provide any further medical care. So he signed a waiver, and that's been witnessed by the enforcer, and he'll be allowed to go. If he doesn't want to go to hospital, that's his free choice. Good morning everyone, we are back on the road with MMDA. Today we're on EDSA, just near Guadalupe, so let's go. This bus just pulled over here to unload. It's not a bus stop, so they're advising him now to move on. So he went forward around 100 meters, tried to do the same thing again, but they told him no. Is it really that hard just to use the bus stops? One thing I've seen a lot this morning is private cars, especially high-end vehicles, Subarus, Mercedes, Land Cruisers, things like that. They're coming along the yellow lane, which is meant to be exclusive to buses. They put their indicator lights on when they see the enforcers as if they're coming off EDSA, but then they just continue straight. Now they might think, oh, I'm so smart, I tricked the enforcers, they think I'm coming off EDSA so they won't apprehend me. But what they're forgetting is the MMDA issues so many tickets for yellow lane violation every day based on CCTV. So even if they're not stopped on the ground, chances are they'll be ticketed by the cameras. Talking about cameras, I think this is one of the new ones installed by MMDA. They are planning to install a lot of new cameras and integrate a smart system eventually. You'll see this bus here is so overloaded, but people are still trying to get on just so they can get where they're going. There's a lot of people that keep coming up with weird and wonderful schemes for EDSA to try and improve traffic. Well, I guess you don't have to worry about traffic if you have escorts. Anyway, what I was going to say is there's a lot of people coming up with weird and wonderful ideas to improve EDSA and traffic, but it seems like one of the simplest ideas is to replace the city buses with double-deckers, because look at the height of them. They're already so tall. A double-decker wouldn't be that much taller and it would carry twice as many people. So considering every day you've got commuters fighting just to get on a bus, not even to get a seat, but just to get on the bus, double-deckers make sense, right? I have to say most of the bus drivers today are complying with any orders given to them, so that's a benefit. At least they're listening to the enforcers. They told that bus not to unload because he's outside of the bus stop. He went past the last enforcer and did it anyway. They're asking now for his license, but so far he's refusing and arguing with the enforcer. Even right now there's a lot of people jumping on and off the bus. He was told by many enforcers not to stop, to continue along the yellow lane so he won't obstruct traffic. So he finally surrendered the license and they're writing out the ticket now. And on the other side of EDSA, northbound, they're issuing a ticket to this J-Ross bus for loading, unloading outside of a designated stop. One of the most difficult things about operating on EDSA, aside from all the pollution, is the honking of the buses, because those horns absolutely blow your ears out. It is actually a violation, but they have so many problems on EDSA that honking horns isn't the top of their list. if you look in the front of the windscreen here, there's a little document from MMDA. It says McLaren PTEC. It's got an image and then a date. The reason why they have those in the windscreen is because the MMDA operate a bus dispatch system. They check, is the bus franchised? Does the driver have a license? Do they have outstanding tickets? Are they cutting their trip? And every day they mix it up, so it's harder for the buses to fake it, because one of the big problems they've been having is that they issue tickets to the buses and then they don't pay the tickets and they just bypass the dispatch system. There was a bus queuing over there, but if you look on its windscreen it says B, and you'll see this bus stop is only for those that have a sticker that says A or C. That bus that was queuing to pick up passengers, they pulled it to the side and asked to see his trip record. He does not have a dispatch for today. The reason is there's a note on his paperwork, 5 unpaid tickets. It used to be that if they come across a bus without a dispatch, they would unload all the passengers, send it back to the depot. But now they don't want to disrupt commuters, they're just going to issue a ticket. But if he already has 5 unpaid tickets, you're just going to make it 6 unpaid tickets and then he's going to continue driving. So I think they need to come up with a better scheme. As much as possible they don't want to disrupt commuters, but they need to do something. And over here they're issuing another ticket for loading, unloading outside of the designated area. What they're trying to do is bring the bus to the very front of the bus stop and have him load, unload there. Because what happens is people start queuing here, and then those that want to bypass the queue, they go in the road, they walk further along, and then they jump on and off the bus. It's dangerous because they're in the middle of the road, they're in the middle of the highway, and it's unfair to those who are actually queuing at the proper stop. So that's what they're doing. They're dragging them forward and saying, no, you load, unload here, the bus stop, you don't load, unload anywhere else. So here's a good example of a bus, the conductor telling people, no, don't come on until we stop here. So there are really some bus drivers, some conductors that are playing along and trying their best. Bong just made a few comments to this bus driver now, because look at how far away he stopped from the curb. And this is the problem, the buses got used to making commuters run to them, when in fact the bus should stop at the very side of the curb so the commuters can get on and off from the sidewalk. See this bus here? No problem. Pulled up directly next to the curb, commuters step from the sidewalk onto the bus. And on the flip side, the bus is not coming close enough to the curb, you've got commuters who keep standing in the road. So they keep trying to push them back. In fact, if you look behind me right now, I'm sure there's a lot of people walking in the road instead of using the sidewalk. So it's a constant battle. Now, of course, some people would say, hey, you need to install fences along EDSA to keep commuters on the sidewalk. The problem is they have to allow access to all the properties. Like this one, for example, he has a driveway here. I guess in an ideal world, there would be a lay-by where the buses can pull off of EDSA for loading, unloading. But unfortunately, there's just so many commercial properties along EDSA that it's just not possible anymore unless they're going to demolish them.
Pwede po ba lahat ng mga pedestrian dito po sa bangketa tumaan? Huwag po sa kalsada. Diyan po kayo sa sidewalk. Sa sidewalk po tayo, sa sidewalk. Yan.
It's around 8:30 a.m. and the number of commuters is really swelling. And again, imagine if you had double deckers here, you could carry double the capacity. It took a little bit of work, but they seem to have got the crowd under order. It's really hard here on EDSA, it's really hard. It's just a constant stream of challenges. And your CPTB are doing a quick segment so they can also inform the public about what's being done here on EDSA. Of course, this is the problem when they don't pull over to the curb. Elderly people, it's very hard for them to get up that high step. Same there with little children, but thankfully the enforcer is able to help him get on the bus. So the team have gone ahead and I've gone my own way. I just saw an MMDA here trying to clean this out. I don't know if this is really a trash can or if people are just using it like that. I think this probably used to hold a flood sensor. You know, the ones that have like a solar panel on top and then they monitor the height of the water. Plastic river here looks quite nice, not too many water lilies, probably because the MMDA and PRRC have been putting boats out here to collect them, because if you have too many water lilies here, boats can't pass through because it clogs up their propellers.